You've gone quiet.
Can you see the website?
Yes, yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Okay. Well, last week we had this rather novelty thing of the what I've styled the Suffolk no trump. Whether anybody will take it up, I'm not sure. I think most of you have been doing bridge too long to change your ways, but it's something I might try with new beginners. Anyway, more straightforward today. We're talking about defence, and in particular, we're talking about second-hand play. Okay. Now, I've said this several times that I've got lots of questions yesterday. Oh, I forgot to look at the results. We do that first in a minute. Got lots of questions, always about bidding. I can't remember a single question about declare a play or defence. And I always find that quite surprising, really. Let's go back to the results anyway, and then we'll go back to that. Results. So, Lynn, well done. And Pearl, you've had your congratulatory telegram, haven't you?
Yes, thank you.
Jolly good. And a nice result there for Jenny and Brendan, their best result for a while. So that's good. And I think Brian enjoyed the session, our new member, I believe. And Caroline and John there at the top. And another very good result for Anne and Penny. And I don't think the Holmeses are here at the moment, but I never remember Christopher Holmes playing with Peter Rains before, and they got a respectable result as well. Statistically, though, the interesting feature of this competition was that between 4th place and 11th, there was hardly anything in it. So that was all mainly very, very close. I don't know when Keith's back, whether he's back next week or the week afterwards. So
14th of February.
Oh, Valentine's Day, how's touching. Good. We must remember to get him a little heart-shaped card, mustn't we? Right, good. Back to defence and second-hand play. Okay. Now, there is a saying, there are many sayings in bridge and whist, second-hand low. And of course, the fascination of bridge in particular is the many exceptions. And we have these phrases that actually, I was looking this up, actually date back, believe it or not, to the 1500s in their versions of whist, all those hundreds of years ago. So these rules, second hand low and third hand high, have been with us for centuries. So do they have any basis of truth? Well, the answer is basically yes. Now, we're just going to concentrate on second hand today. So if they lead the suit, either from dummy or declarer, the next person to play is called second hand for obvious reasons. And it is quite a difficult area, some parts we've not actually touched on yet. Yes, second hand low. Now, there's a good reason, well, 2 good reasons for that. If your partner in the last seat, it's always easy to win a trick cheaply. You know, what I mean by that, capture the king with the ace, that's brilliant, but it's much easier to do it if you're in the last seat. Okay, so your partner in 4th hand, last to play, is in a much better position to take the trick cheaply. The other thing is that if you've got a high card in your own hand, generally speaking, you want to keep that to capture one of their high cards. So there are 2 sound reasons for playing. 2 sound reasons for playing low as second hand. Now, when we say second hand low, we actually mean, have they led the low card?
On the radio, not on the radio. On the...
I can hear somebody speaking in their room, please. Thank you. Now, if a high card's led, it's quite a different matter. And I suspect, I'm sorry, I've got somebody's radio or conversation.
Okay,
Could you mute it, please?
I must go. I've got somebody connected to me on the computer.
It's Val.
Valerie,
Yes, yes, if you like.
I just wait. Okay, I think that's stopped now. Okay. On the other hand, if
I'm sorry, Clement, I must go because I've got somebody live on the computer. I'll
he is still alive, Val, I hope. We've all done it. We've all done it.
Bye.
Hi, Val. Sorry.
Sorry,
Val.
the landline
Oh,
went.
it's okay. Unfortunately, we could hear you, and I had to stop.
Oh.
We've all, don't worry, we've all done it. If that happens, if you just mute yourself, and then we can't hear all your conversation.
I must go. I must go. That's what you all heard, was it?
Anyway, we'll just I'm not going to edit that out. Don't worry. Rewind the tape. That if a low card is led, the general rule for second hand is second hand low. Because your partner's in a better position to win the trick cheaply, and you want to save your high cards to beat declarer or dummies high cards. One or two exceptions. If an honour's led, generally speaking, you cover it. Now, if you've not come across that, that means, for example, if a queen is led and you've got the king, you play it. The principle is that to play the ace, they've used up 2 high cards for one of yours. Do you get the idea? So they've used their queen and their ace, but you've used your king. But the real reason you do it is to try and promote cards like jack, 10s and 9s. And we will see some examples of that. And there are sometimes, I'm just waiting for my prompt to disappear there. Can anybody read the bottom 2 lines of the screen, please? Because my prompt's hiding it.
Cover the last of touching honours and do not cover if no cards could be promoted.
Thank you, Roy. These are the exceptions to covering honours, and we'll just run through a few examples. Okay. Right, if you can understand the diagram, you are west, I suppose. Declarer is south, and they've led the 2, and of course you can see dummy. So, which card do we play?
The 3.
Yeah.
Why do you think the 3?
Well, well, if you leave the ace, if you lead the ace, he's not going to play his king.
Could play the 9, I suppose.
Yeah, 9.
9, I suppose.
No. You just simply play low here. I don't think the 9 is high enough with 3 cards to make a difference, to be honest. So I would play low here. And the reason here is, although we could win the trick, we could have this situation very likely. We're reserving our ace to do its proper job, and that is to kill a king, or failing that, a queen or a jack, and so on. Do you see the general picture? Now, if we played the ace here, declarer's got 2 tricks. Can you see that? I know some of you do find defense quite difficult, and a lot of people say that. So I will go quite slowly on this, because some of you have not actually had a lesson like this before. We've done it with the present group too. Can you see there? Yes, go on, David.
Isn't there some merit in playing the 9, in so much as if he wants to win the trick, he's got to play above the 8, in other words, the king, to win the trick?
I can't see any harm here in playing the 9 either.
No.
I just wouldn't, in principle, in case any high cards crash, that sort of thing.
Right.
But the general thing is to play low. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it would make any difference. 9s start getting important, though. We're going to see an important 9 coming up for sure. But I think the main thing is don't play the ace, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, the moment you crudely weigh in that ace, you've just promoted their queen and king.
Yeah.
See, Declarer can't finesse both ways. They can finesse the king, and they might be pleased if that wins, but they can't be lucky with the queen as well. Okay. And in general, to be honest, if you are Declarer, try not to touch suits like that. If you don't touch them, you may get both tricks anyway. You see what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
And so the queen here is trapped. Right. There is just one exception, of course. This might be late in the hand, and you want to get them one down, and it's the only way you can do it. So common sense applies. If it's the only way you can beat their contract, that's called a setting trick. You would play the ace, but that's just common sense, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Who led from dummy this time? You're East. Diamonds.
Same again, really.
It is. It's exactly the same principle. I've just done this to show, it could be either way round. Dummy leads, you're still second hand, aren't you? And it's exactly the same idea. I've just fiddled the cards around a bit, haven't I? Okay, the king wins this time, but he can't win next time, because if Declarer tries to finesse the queen, he's going to lose. Okay. So that's the same one the other way round, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So we're just learning this nice, comfortable rule. If a low card is led, you play low. A second hand, that is.
Yeah.
So, two of hearts from Declarer. See dummy, of course. We've got to decide. We can win the trick, of course.
7.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I think any low card really will do. Any low card. There's no reason to think we're going to change the. I mean, my letter. Eventually, there's going to be a trap, isn't there?
Yeah.
But not yet, because we just going to lose the queen to the ace. Fine, but it's another frozen suit. Now, by frozen suit, I mean if you're Declarer and you've got suits like this with just one high card in both hands, try not to tackle them at all if you can. If defense start leading them, you may make a trick. Can you see what's going to happen in this heart suit? They're not going to win any tricks at all. Although they've got the queen and the jack, 3 points worth of high cards, they're going to lose the jack to the king later, aren't they? Okay. So it's a similar kind of idea, but this time, if we play our cards right, literally, they don't get any tricks, even though they've got the queen and the jack. On the other hand, if we lead the suit, I think you can see that it will eventually give them a trick. And that's why we call Queen Jack a stopper. A queen really isn't a stopper by itself. It needs that jack there as extra insurance. And I think that this little trick demonstrates that. Okay, so far.
Yeah.
In general, then a low card led, you play low in second hand. Dummy. You're East.
3.
Yes, I think there's a bit of hesitation because people
Yes.
are waiting for a trap, but it's not come up yet. Same idea exactly. In fact, that's the same one as number 3, just doing it to show that you could be second hand as East or West. Okay. And once again, although the cards are switched round, Declarer will make no tricks at all from the Queen and the Jack. Don't forget, by the way, if you do want to, I don't know how many of you, do any of you actually watch the recordings as well?
yeah, yes.
I've watched one of them or two of them. Yeah.
To see yourself on the silver screen. Okay. But of course, you can just simply go to the website and run through the examples anyway without doing that. So number 4 is like number 3, the other way round. So I'm going to try and go quite slowly tonight, because last time we had defense, somebody got in a bit of a state because they couldn't understand it. Probably my
Excuse
fault.
me.
3.
Yes, that's Sheila, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We've not thrown you there by sticking that jack at the top, have we? No, the thing is, Declarer is going to guess here. He's got to guess which card to finesse. And generally speaking, it's better to finesse the lower card first, because it gives you a chance. If we had the Queen, West, you can win 2 tricks. So he will probably finesse the jack, and it's going to lose, isn't it? So for the 5th time running, that was the right answer. So just in bridge, you think, oh, I've got the idea of this. You just keep playing low, don't you?
No.
Okay?
But why? Chris?
Yes, David.
Why would Declarer lead the 2 of clubs, looking at his hand?
Sorry, it's highlighted the 6, but it could be any card. It says that it's meant to the 2. Could play any of them. Should have been the 2, actually. Sorry. Okay.
Why would he lead with that suit, though, looking at his hand? You know, what was the purpose of that?
Because it's probably in the later stages of the hand. Now, you know, I'm always going on about taking your finesses late.
Yeah.
Because you can see if our partner led this suit, that would be very, you know, if you see a suit like that in dummy, and you're on the right, east, just don't lead it, because you're just giving away a free trick. Okay. But of course, as the hand goes on, you know, you're forced to actually go for your finesses, aren't you? And so my answer to that is probably because it's late in the hand. Okay.
Yeah.
Good question. Good question. Let them take your finesses. I mean, reasonably experienced beginners, well, like Group 1, say, love finesses because they're so pleased when they work, and they do tend to enjoy taking a finesse. But the thing is, it's best not to do it until you actually have to, or let them lead the suit for you. So hence my thing about late in the hand. And here's another one. So 2 from Declarer.
The Queen.
Queen.
Taught to play second hand low when a low card's led.
No, because you want to take one of Dummy's tricks.
Yes. This is sort of, you can get onto autopilot, can't you? Second hand low. And to play the 3 here would be very silly, wouldn't it? Because it's quite possible that he's going to try and finesse that jack. And so if you do meet this situation, it's called split honours. So it's our first little exception. If you've got consecutive honours, as you have here, generally you need to play one of them. Queen or king, it doesn't matter, because otherwise they're going to get away with a cheap trick with that jack. Can you see that? So while you're in second hand low autopilot, just make sure you haven't got consecutive honours, because it does tend to be best if you do play those. King, queen, queen, jack, that kind of thing. Okay. And of course we can see dummy here, but if it went the other way round, we wouldn't be able to see it, would we? But I think if it was the king, queen on the east, we'd still play it just in case. It's when you've got 2 high cards in a row with a small card. So that's our first little exception. And that is called splitting honours. Okay. Right. Can you see why? Because otherwise we might just lose to the jack, which would be silly. Right. Next one. What have we got now? Now, this time the queen is led by Declarer, and somebody, one of the ladies, confidently says the king, and that is because
promoting
Gonna
Promotes
the
force him to
jack,
use
Enforcing
his
the
ace.
ace, yeah.
it promotes
I
the
mean,
jack
this is
of
the
10.
most obvious example of covering honours, isn't it?
Hmm.
You're forcing the ace out. Well, let's play it. Now, they don't usually come as easy as this, but you can see straight away if you do cover, dummy wins the ace, used up 2 of their high cards for 1 of yours, and what happens, and this is the real reason you cover, our medium-sized jacks and tens are now
Winners.
my aces and
Masters.
kings.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So sometimes you can see that kind of situation. What do you think about declarer's play, though? No, you shouldn't. Declarers shouldn't be just leading the
No.
queen.
No.
Remember my old advice: you need 4 high cards before you think of leading a high card yourself. And to be honest, that's just throwing the queen to the wolves. But some people try it. You know, they're in a position and they have to somehow win the queen, and they might try and con you by leading the queen in that position. It has been known, deception play. So you generally do cover that honour. Here it's obvious because you can see the 2 promoted cards, the jack and the 10, suddenly becoming masters. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a nice and easy one to see. It's sort of common sense, isn't it, this one? Now this time the queen is led again by declarer, but we've only got the 4 and the 2.
Still do the same thing, wouldn't you?
Why is
No.
that, Beryl? Sorry, was that Beryl?
Yes, it
yeah.
was. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to
Right.
figure. Well, they'd let the queen run, wouldn't they? And then they'd still go ahead again. And you may want to play the king then, and it would fall to the ace, or you may be able to promote the 9.
Well, no, that's
The dummy's got the 9.
the
That's the
dummy's got the
trouble.
I play low.
It doesn't.
No, you play the king because you're still forcing the ace out.
Yeah.
When you're
But
forcing
with-
the ace out.
But with what
what's your
primary
partner?
intention?
Well,
what is your-
hopefully your partner will have some higher
Exactly.
ones.
Thank you. Well done, Roy. It's your partner, isn't it? You know, you've got to think about your partner. Once I heard the word partner, I thought, well done, because you could have this situation. And it's the same as the other. It's just you can't see the jack and the 10, can you?
No.
So instead of promoting your own jack and 10, you promoted partners. Now, I have to say this is poor play by declarer, but he may be trying to pull a fast one for some reason. And of course,
Chris, sorry, Chris, can I just query? You wouldn't know what was in your partner's hand, and with the declarer
No.
playing the queen, it may well be that he's got the jack.
no, you don't, but you cover in hope.
Right.
Okay. Because if you don't cover, that queen's going to win anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. And declarers A, make mistakes, or B, are forced into that position near the end of a
disappeared,
hand.
Yeah.
Can you see my picture?
You've disappeared.
I can see myself at the top of the screen. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, now, yes.
And we can see
I
you.
wondered if you meant you couldn't hear me. Good.
I couldn't
So-
just at the moment.
Are you okay now? I was just explaining, in case you missed that one there, that sometimes when you cover, you're promoting your partner's cards.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So you do it anyway. In fact, really, the correct way to play that suit, if you were declare, is to play the ace and then lead up to the queen. But on this occasion, you'd be unlucky, wouldn't you? Okay.
Yeah.
You're right with that.
Hmm.
Next one, if you're happy. So there we're promoting our partners' intermediate cards, the jack and the 10. And of course, it was no trump, the 8 as well.
Sorry to interrupt a second, Chris.
Let's go
You say-
back.
you
Let's
say-
go back and look at that.
You say dummy should lead the ace, but then you've got no
Uh,
chance of making the queen. If you've got the queen, at least there's the odd chance that the partner has.
That's right. Do ask if you're not sure. In this position, if you've got the ace in one hand and the
Yes.
queen in the other,
Yeah.
you lead, well, you can play the ace first. It might drop a singleton queen, king, not very likely. But the main thing is you lead up to the queen. Now, we can see with this hand, it's going to lose.
Mm.
But of course, it could equally well be with our partner, in which case it would win. So what Declarer should be doing, and he'd be unlucky here, admittedly, should be leading up to the queen, not just playing it. I think to play the queen, you'd need the jack and the 10 as well. You need 4 high cards to
Yeah,
lead a
that's
high
right,
card.
Right, okay.
Now, of course, we with the benefit of X-ray eyes can see that that finesse is going to lose. But of
Yeah.
course, Declarer couldn't. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Good. Good. So, you know, it's not about Declarer play today, but it's, you know, you lead up to your high card that you're trying to finesse. What you don't do is just lead it like that. Well, sometimes you have to. Okay, next one. What do we think about this one?
Same principles.
It's the same again. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
You still play the king.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you've learnt your rule, covering honours with honours.
Yes.
Can you see a quite clear reason why you're going to do that?
Yes, because he's going to play his ace, and now you're going to promote your 10.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now,
Well,
in the
got the
previous
jack.
examples, we were promoting 2 high cards. Not quite so easy to see this time, is it?
No.
But once the queen, king, and ace have gone, all right, we've lost the trick. But R10 is a winner. It becomes like an ace, doesn't it? Sorry, it becomes like a king, I should say, because the jack's still out. But R10 on the 3rd round will be a winner after the jack's gone. I wonder where the jack is. So we're covering again, and we can see the reason, because that 10 suddenly becomes like a king once it's promoted. The jack is like the ace. Now,
Yeah.
Mm.
Declarer had better reason to
Yeah.
play the queen because they did have the jack as well.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, that's still not the correct play of this hand. But you really ought to be leading up. Well, it probably won't make much difference anyway.
Okay.
But the general principle is that you need to have 4 high cards, really. But if Declarer had a 4th card, it will be a good idea to lead up to the queen jack first. Okay. So can you all see that that promotes your own 10?
Yeah.
Mm.
Admittedly, you're going to use the 2nd round to the jack, but it's still worth covering from the point of view of promoting. Okay. Because if you don't, yes, that's right. So the rule still applies so far. What's number 10? Happy with that?
Mhm.
Cover an honour with an honour if there's a chance of a intermediate card like Jack 10-9 being promoted.
Ditto.
Trap question. Now, Roy very confidently just said ditto. Can anybody see a problem with that?
Depends where the ace is. doesn't it?
Depends where the
Yeah,
ace.
exactly. It depends on where the ace has been read.
Exactly.
But the play, whether Roy's right or wrong, is still the same. Sorry, I'm just trying to trap you. Roy is right. Okay. And there it is. And we've just promoted partners cards. See, this is where people find it more difficult. When, you know, I was wondering, you're too experienced, most of you, to fall into that trap. You promoted partners cards, the 10, the 9, and if it's no trumps, the 8 as well.
Yeah.
So that's usually the case. You're more often trying to promote cards for partner, really, when you do this. So definitely right to cover there. And look at that, we clean up all 4 tricks in the suit.
Yes.
We've got 6 points, they've got 4. Yeah. And we clean up all 4 tricks in the suit. So that's very poor play by Declarer there, by the way.
Yeah.
Just leave suits like that. They're frozen. The moment you touch them, disaster. But sometimes By your clever play, you may leave declarer with no choice but to broach that suit with unhappy consequences. Both the jack and the king falling to the queen and the ace. What have we got for number 11? So, what are the two main rules? Low card led, you play lower second hand. High card led, you cover an honour with an honour. Okay? Piece of cake, the second hand play.
Yeah.
Queen from dummy.
King.
Same.
Same again. Ditto, ditto, ditto. Everybody happy with that?
Yeah. King.
You see,
I'm not so sure.
this, you've listened to so many of my broadcasts, you spot the tone of voice, don't you, by the time it gets to about number 11. Now think again. And this is why defense is difficult sometimes.
Well, you don't know who's got the ace, do you? That's the trouble.
You don't indeed.
And so,
But I think you can be pretty sure who has got it
yeah,
with that play.
yeah. So if you play it, I'd be inclined to play low. Keep the king.
You still split. You still play the king to split the ace off if it's with the declarer, or if it's with your own partner, he won't play it. So you'll still get the trick.
Yeah, but then you've just promoted the jack, haven't you?
I don't think anybody's really
Well,
seen
no,
it yet.
You win with the king, then your partner's win.
It really depends who's got the. If you assume declarer's got the ace, you play the king, you lose. That means the ace, the king, and the queen have gone. The jack is promoted, isn't it?
All right. Yes.
This is the fascination of bridge, especially defense. And the answer is you play the 5.
Yeah.
Can anybody see what it is about dummies holding that makes you do that?
Touching honors is something to do with the fact that they're touching.
It is that, Lynn.
Mm.
And that's the thing. You don't
Yeah.
cover the first of touching honours. What's
Yeah.
more difficult to see is why. Is it just a rule that we follow for the sake of it? Well, if we see that we will play low here. So another little, what's the word, exception anyway, is that you don't cover the first of touching honours. Because if you do here, you're going to play the king, right?
Yeah.
And declare wins the ace.
Mm.
What's he going to do now?
Promote his jack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Jack,
Mm.
that's the significant card, is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the 9.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at it from declarer's point of view. You play the king. He plays the ace. Look at that jack 9 there. Can be finessed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we're doing, and this is slightly more difficult defensive play, is we're exposing our partner to a finesse.
Yeah.
Because now he can finesse that 9. Once you
Yeah.
picture the queen, king, ace, and the 3 of hearts going. So that's another little string to your defensive bow. Cover the last of touching honours. Otherwise, you expose your partner to a finesse. Now, that's not easy, and nobody got it right as far as I could hear. Can you all understand? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, and we spend so much time on learning bidding and everything, and things like this come up all the time in play, you know. And you've just given a trick away.
Yeah.
And you'd be far more worried if you've overbid in the auction. This is why defense is so important. And of course, we do it twice as often as declare. So you cover the last of touching honours. Otherwise, you expose your partner to a finesse. And the key card there is the 9.
Yeah.
It's the
Yes,
9, you see.
yeah,
It's not
yeah.
just any old low card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although you might not be able to see it. What about this one?
Mm.
Well, Dummy's
You've
got a
played
nice little sequence
No.
there.
Yeah, you played low on that one.
And can we see why?
Well, Queen Jack 10 9.
Yeah.
Nothing to promote, is there?
No.
We can
Oh,
see the
yeah.
Jack 10 and the 9, which we might be able to promote.
There's a possibility that partner's short and we'll be able to trump if you're in a trump suit contract.
That is a good point there. I think that was Brian.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
I think
Hidden
in
Brian, unfortunately.
I think in these hands, perhaps I should say we're just assuming it's no trump, shall we say, for the sake of argument.
Right, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Good point though. Might be. And indeed, even more important, we can win the king.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you've got 4 cards to the king. It's quite likely, very likely, that Declarer's got less than that. So that's another reason for not covering there.
Mm.
Because, all right, Declarer can win the ace on the second round, but your king is still good. And the same thing would actually apply if it was the other way around, and then you'd be able to see Dummy. So if you know you've got more cards than Declarer, or you know you've got more cards than Dummy, that's another reason not to cover there. And as I think it was Beryl said earlier, you can see the cards that can be promoted anyway in plain sight.
Also, if you're in a if they haven't got another entry to Dummy, you may be able to cut them off actually getting to the Jack 10 9.
Yes.
And that's almost psychic there, Beryl. I think that was, because you really touched on the next point. So I suppose you can just say that one there is just an extension of don't cover the first of touching honours. In fact, you're never going to cover. You're going to win your king that way. So it's quite a complicated subject, but once you get into the habit of it, it's not so bad. One tip though, a second hand, don't dither. Because when you're deciding whether to cover or not,
Yeah.
I've seen this happen so many times, you give the game away.
Yeah.
And I think when you're waiting for Declarer sometimes at the start of him playing the deal, it's sometimes a good idea to, you know, when you look at an honor on its own or whatever, am I going to be covering with this later? If so, don't give the game away. A second hand, you can so easily give the game away. You just have to
Chris?
play poker faced. Yeah.
Chris, it's Beryl on this one. When the ace will fall on the second time.
Yeah.
But if they had ace something, when would you play your king? If they kept leading from Dummy?
On the third.
Well, in this case, it would be you wouldn't play it until you had to.
Yeah.
Until you saw that ace go.
So you'd
Okay.
hold back until you knew the king was going to be a winner.
In fact, that's going to happen unless they've got to have 4 cards, haven't they, to make that
Yeah.
happen?
Mm.
But the answer is you wait as long as it takes.
Okay, thank you.
And you've not, and if they have got 4, there's nothing you could do about it anyway. Now that's
Okay.
good play by Declarer, isn't it? Because he has got the requisite 4 high cards. Leading queen is the correct way to play that suit. So well done, south, sorry. Right, what about this? This may be new. I covered this 3 years ago, coming up. Now, this, I think, may be brand new to most of you. But if somebody does know it, good luck. Now, this time we've got no high cards. And this is where, as defenders, we fall asleep. It really is. And somebody moans as they do, oh, I've got no high card points, we're only defending. Anne and Melissa told me 2 weeks ago when they got the 70%, we were defending most of the time. And it just shows, well, they must have made the right leads and everything else is just as important.
Mm.
Now, will you go to sleep here as West?
Did you play the 8?
Play the 8.
Know
Yeah,
why
high,
you
low.
play. You know, yes, high, low.
Yeah.
Now, this is what is known as a count signal.
Mm.
Now, I'll be doing third hand play in a future lesson in about a month's time. But, oh, by the way, we're doing the losing trick count, Sheila, next week.
Yes, good. Thank
Not everybody likes the losing trick count,
Yeah, I do.
but it's not infallible. I recommended to Sheila, sorry, Jenny, you know, Jenny and Philip. She opened one club. He bid 3 clubs. I took that for 8 losers. Then I counted her hand. She had 6 losers. So I said, don't bid again. And so they didn't, and they made 12 tricks. And the others who hadn't asked me the question all bid 5 clubs. So even the losing trick count is not infallible, I'm afraid. So why do we play the 8? Well, it's what's called a count signal. It doesn't matter to us what card we play. Now, that tells us that we have an even number of cards. Look, I'm just going to go to a separate screen where it is. There it is, count signals. Whereas we use attitude signals in third hand, we use count signals, which are not usually quite as useful, but can be, in second seat. Now, the mnemonic here is hello. High for an even number of cards, low for an odd number of cards. You got the idea?
Yeah.
So that's what we've done here on wrong section. There we are, second hand play number. That's what we did here. Now that really helps partner. Now, this is this situation where dummy's trying to cash a long suit. Now, if they've got an ace outside, it's not going to make any difference, but very often they haven't. So it's absolutely vital that your partner wins the ace on the right trick. And they're not psychic. Well, they can appear to be if you play the 8. Can you see why?
Yeah.
Now, looking at these cards, when you play the 8, which is clearly a high spot card, your partner will think, oh, he's got an even number of cards. And what is that most likely to be? The answer is 2. From that, he can work out the declarer has 3.
Yeah.
Cannot see declarer's cards. This is the clever thing about this thing. So he will know that he will win his ace on which round?
The next one.
Oh,
Third.
The third round.
Mhm.
why am I putting my hand over the screen? That doesn't make any difference. It's like me putting on aftershave before the lesson tonight.
Oh, third round. Yeah, that's good.
The next hand you
I didn't read that.
could then feed.
Now, obviously,
Chris.
it should be third round.
Chris,
How
could,
does,
could-
yeah,
can I
yes.
just say, the king wins that hand, yeah?
Yeah.
So then presumably declarer, saying declarer plays another club.
Yes,
Yeah.
probably
So
play the
that
9.
wipes out the 8 and the 3. That's gone. The dummy plays one of his top cards, or he plays whatever. You win with the ace, and then feed back your remaining club to your partner to trump.
We're just assuming no trumps.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. Yeah. But you would, wouldn't you, normally? Yeah.
Yes, indeed, if it was trumps, but it's not.
No, it's okay. Well, that rules that out, doesn't it?
As I should say that. Now, I mean, the thing is, because he knows you've got 2, he can work out declarer's got 3. And you see, when you're winning aces like this, you don't want to do it too soon. Because if you do, declarer's still got cards to lead back.
Yeah.
Nor do you want to do it too late, by the way, because that's throwing away a trick. You want to win this trick precisely on which round?
Third.
Third. Now, I know we can see declarer's hand, but our partner can't, but he can deduce it from our thoughtful play of the 8 of clubs. And do you remember what the title of our very first Zoom recording was? Every single card matters.
Yeah.
Okay. How about this one? Can you see why that helps partner?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, I'm assuming a situation where that's all dummies got. So you have actually saved 2 tricks there, 2 whole tricks by doing that. He will not be able to get to his last 2 cards in dummy if you get that precisely right. So what a great art defense can be if we're awake. Finally,
5.
No, 3.
5's ambiguous. It's a bit like the
Hmm.
Liberal Democrat choice, the 5.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah, 3 is probably better. Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
necessarily wrong with that, I might add, but on this occasion,
Yeah.
why should we play the 3 here?
Show this odd.
Hard man.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Otherwise, it's goodbye to your contract.
Yeah.
So you play the 3
Yeah.
to show an odd number of cards. And isn't this clever? And your intelligent partner can now work out to hold up his or her ace until which round?
The second.
Second.
The second, without having the benefit of seeing declarer's hand. And when I first saw count signals, I thought they're quite miraculous, aren't they, really?
Yeah.
So don't get bored in defense. When they lead a suit, just play count signals automatically. A lot of the time it won't make any difference, but now and then it's going to be very, very helpful. And there's an explanation of that there, which we've just seen. And we're going to finish off by running, I don't know how many we'll get through. We've got 3 hands to do. Practice deals. We're going to do 12, 13 and 14 of defense. Just check my notes to show which hand I'm going to show. There's us, West.
Mhm.
And the dealer is South, so we'll just show the bidding. We're not going to have much to do with it.
Mhm. Pass. Oh, let's put it up there.
Yeah.
So the auction is straightforward. How many points do you think North's got?
1,
10.
10 to
10,
12.
that's right.
10
14.
to
10 to
12.
12. Yeah.
10 to 12-ish, yes.
Mm,
Of course, they may have a singleton, they may have added something for that. They may be losing the losing trick count, but it's a hand which is not quite worth. It's an invitation, and we assume that South's got a bit more than 12 to be able to accept the invitation.
Mm.
Now, first of all, we do have a decision about which card to lead.
Mm.
You've got a choice of 13.
Well, I presume the
Queen.
Queen of Spades.
Yes. This is a suit contract, and I like to be careful when I'm leading, but when you have got a nice little high sequence, it's generally best to do it because it's going to work if partner has one more high card. The 10 would do, or the king, or the 8. Okay. So I think we're going to leave the Queen of Spades, and at that moment, of course, dummy comes down, and we're going to play off each trick. I'm just looking to the key. At one point in this hand, there is a key moment. Okay, we'll see if we can spot it. So first trick, let's play off the trick. If you've not seen these arrows before, it just does 3, 4 bids, 2 bids, cards, whatever. So here's the first trick, which declarer wins. Declarer wins trick 1. Now, probably I would imagine, what do you think declarer is going to do now?
Sure, sure.
Draw trumps.
Probably, yeah, that would be the usual thing, 60-odd% of the time. There's one round gone. Right, there's 2 rounds gone, and he's just going to draw that last one because it's not a master, is it? Right, trumps drawn.
No.
Routine. Now, what do you think?
The 3.
After
Maybe the
tonight's,
9. Could be the 9.
I'll play the 9.
can't see any
Hello, though, is 3, isn't
harm
it?
in playing the 9. think I tend to like to keep intermediate cards like that
Yeah,
just in
the three.
case. I think the 3.
There you go.
And here we go. Now, well, our partner's won the ace. It's beaten their queen. And let's just play the rest of the hand off, because we've essentially done the right thing now. Just partner led spades there. We originally led spades, didn't we? And he's just returning our suit there in that trick. Fair enough. Now, Declarer is just taking what's rightfully his, but eventually he's faced with this situation. And aren't we glad we played low now in diamonds?
Yeah.
We have preserved our king to beat the jack. Okay. I suppose I didn't play the 9 there, by the way, early on, just in case the Declarer for some reason played the 8. I mean, it's not impossible, is it? So I think I keep the 9 there. And I think that's it. By the shouting, isn't it? Oh, we can win another spade.
Yeah.
Which is what we led in the first place. And we've got
Diamond.
Okay. So we were right to keep the 9, weren't we?
1 down.
Yes. So I
Yep,
didn't, I
1
didn't play
down.
the 9. 1 down. And why are they 1 down? Because one reason. At trick
We kept
5,
the king.
if you go to the start, you can see all these hands. And if you look at the diamond situation, is it jack of diamonds at the bottom?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Jack 8-6.
Oh, Declarer, tackle the suit. If you want any hints, by the way, Declarer didn't play all that well.
No.
And this is quite advanced Declarer play. It's a bit harsh. Can you see the mistake that Declarer made? And all we had to do was simply play second hand low to defeat the contract. What was Declarer's? They were right to draw trumps, first of all, but what was the mistake after that? It's a long time since we've done end play. Well, the answer is don't tackle diamonds at all. What you do is you take your black suit winners and then give away the lead, and they end up having to lead diamonds. So that's a little bit of advanced Declarer play, but that when you get a suit like that as Declarer, leave it. Even lose the lead so that they have to play it. Okay. But the main lesson there was simply a very simple play of second hand low there at trick 5 in diamonds. Good. So that was reasonably straightforward. We were aided by not particularly expert Declarer play there. Now number 13. Right, I need to show the east hand here. And south is going to open on no trump. North 2 clubs, that's Stayman. What would it mean if you doubled here, by the way?
Show me your best suit.
Where? In north
west.
position?
You're
east.
requesting a lead of clubs.
Oh, in east position.
Very
Yeah.
useful thing to know if you don't know it.
Mm.
2 clubs doesn't mean clubs, it's a convention.
Yes.
If you double that suit, it's called a lead directing double, and it's more or less ordering your partner to lead clubs. And of course, here we wouldn't, because we've got a poor club holding. And South has no 4-card major, so no trumps it is. And the first card led is the partner's 4, and dummy comes down. Now, there is another key moment here, and I wonder if you'll spot it. Right, 4 led, no trumps. I think this program does 4th highest, by the way. So we take that 4 as 4th highest.
Yeah.
There's the first trick. We try the queen, of course. High. Oh, good. We've won the first trick. This looks promising, doesn't it? Which card do we lead back, by the way?
The 7.
Yeah, the spade anyway.
Little things like this in defence make all the difference. When you've got a remaining doubleton like this,
Right, yeah,
lead the higher card,
right,
as you would do at the start.
right.
It can be so helpful at times if you do that. But South's been holding up the ace, perhaps being forced to win it. And now I expect he's going to work on his best suit, which I think is clubs. He's just going to take a few clubs, quite a few clubs. So we'll just work through that. And he's going to take all 4. There's trick 5 going through. Then tries. Giving it away. Right. Play it again. Sorry, I pressed too many buttons. You're going to do it again. And if you saw, if you're sharp enough to have seen, you deserve it.
Yeah, split the honours.
I played 2 men, split the honours, somebody said. I wonder if that's right. Right, so lead, north, want to see east, don't we? Right, I'll try and not play. Oh, that's trick 1.
Yeah.
Here's trick 2. Perhaps Declare had to win that ace. He held it up to the 2nd round anyway.
Yeah.
And now he takes these 4 rounds of clubs.
Yeah.
We should be thinking about one particular card in our east hand, by the way, at this stage.
Yeah.
Last of the clubs. And this is where I went wrong before. Now the Jack of Diamonds is played.
I would win that with the ace, so I could play the 3 of spades back to my partner.
It's not the
The
ace.
ace.
It's
Oh, the king.
Yeah.
Diamond.
You're mixing up the suits.
I need to put my glasses on.
Beryl says she would cover with the king.
No,
Anybody
I-
like to argue the case against that?
Yeah.
play low. Play,
You're arguing because you're married.
No.
No, play
I
the
was-
king.
I
Beryl is
didn't have my
absolutely
glasses on
right.
and I
Play the
thought the
king.
jack was a heart.
No. We cover because we might have cards in our partner's hand that are significant. So we're going to cover,
oh, okay.
Yes.
which doesn't look a very good idea, does it, at the moment?
Yeah, because
No.
they're played 2 high cards.
But we have drawn 2 of their high cards. So perhaps it is going to be useful. Let's see. Okay.
No.
And there we are. We let our partner get the lead so that we win the last trick. Okay, so it was right to cover. Now, we're running out of time a bit. And if you found that last one a little bit difficult towards the end, you can still go back to it. But finally, I'm just going to do one more hand because we're running out of time a bit now. You were right, though, there, Beryl.
Even without my glasses on.
Ooh.
Sometimes it helps. What do I need to show? East. Well, we'd hope to be opening 1 no trump here, wouldn't we? But they get there first, and we certainly can't say anything now, so it's a very straightforward auction. Okay. Now, let's see what the lead is. Dummy comes down and it's just going to play off the first 3 tricks. What should we play, by the way, in hearts?
Queen of clubs.
Hearts has been led.
Oh, sorry.
We're east, aren't we?
Yeah.
What do we play?
Play the 9.
King.
You only play the 9 or 10 if Declarer had the queen. It doesn't gain anything to play second
the
or third.
king?
Yeah, this is classic 3rd hand high.
Yeah.
Now it'd be difficult. It'd be different if the queen was in dummy. So don't get thrown. You're just
Right.
finessing. If you play the jack or nine, you're finessing against your partner. Okay.
Yeah.
So king it is, and then you lead it back. But declare us held up and won the second round. Now this is the crucial moment, and I hope we're ready for it.
Play the 2.
Why?
Because there's touching honours.
Very
Queen
good.
of diamonds and jack of diamonds.
And the significant card is that 9 of diamonds, isn't it? So we saw this in the example earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
You don't cover the first of touching honours. And as we play the rest of this, we'll see why. Now, that means that declarer can't really play the jack now. So he has to switch. He now plays the queen of spades. Oops. What do you play?
2.
Yes, it's the same again, isn't it?
Touching on us again.
Touching
So
on it.
rather unusually, we got touching honours again, and absolutely right. We don't. Okay, so let's play out the next trick or two, and we'll see why we've gained here in a minute.
Yeah.
Because at some point he's got to touch these suits, hasn't he? Okay, and there we are. And I think it's going to be 1 down, isn't it, now?
Yeah.
Just cashing that extra heart there. Yep, 1 down it is. Now, if you find these hands a bit difficult, admittedly, I've played them a bit quickly, just click restart and then just show all the hands. We'll just do the bidding. Now, I want you to look at the diamond suit and the spade suit, because they're the only ones that matter. When the queen of diamonds was led, we didn't cover, did we?
No.
No.
That meant that if we had covered, well, the thing is, if we had covered, then declarer could finesse the 9 of diamonds, couldn't they?
Yeah.
You see that?
Mhm.
It's much easier when you can see all 4 hands, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if you follow the general rule, so if we had covered the queen of diamonds with the king, in other words, we covered the first of touching honours, then declarer could have finessed the 9. But of course we didn't, he couldn't. Same applies with the spades. When the queen of spades was led, if we covered with the king, wins the ace, he could either run the 9 or finesse the 8. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, even if you find that difficult, so long as you follow that general rule, even if you don't quite fully understand how it works, you can't really go wrong. So I thought the lesson today was fairly easy to start with and got harder later on. So I'm now going to work out how I stop recording, if I can see it.